Welcome to Z's and Threes.
For three for the win. Yes!
Last weekend, the story was NBA playoffs most watched in 25 years. So I asked, would the games deliver? And the emphatic answer is yes. After the weekend that just was and the games that we have seen across the 8 series, one that is already done, the answer is yes. They are delivering. Were we robbed of a potential classic series by a no call at the end in the Pistons Knicks? Also, the finish of the Nuggets Clippers couldn't have been any more close. And what does Lakers Wolves have in store as the series goes back to LA? The Wolves with a chance to close things out. Plenty to talk about, break down all 8 series, what we saw over the weekend. Before we do, shout out to all of our new subscribers. We are over 8,500. Welcome to Z's and Threes. You sleep, I peep. If you don't see the action, I got you. If you aren't subscribed, please do like, subscribe, share with a friend. Let's catch you up. Group chat game of the night. Didn't know which way to go with this one. First off, apologies for the missed show last week. We had a passing in the family. Nothing is more important here at Z's and Threes than family. So yes, work is important. The games are important. The NBA is important. Telling y'all the stories, important as well. But being there for family, well, that is always going to be more important. So we missed Friday. Plenty of action there, but things really heated up across the weekend. So we'll break it all down. Let's start with the group chat game of the day, night, however you want to call it. And it was the first game of the day in what is building to be a classic series, or could have been a classic series. But what will we make of it now? The story today, controversy. The Knicks went up 16 points in the second quarter, but the Pistons come out nails, physical on defense in the third. They hold New York to just 14 points, erase the deficit. We had a tight back and forth game going into the final minutes. Fourth quarter, though, Jalen Brunson story all about him. Just named last week the NBA's clutch player of the year, and he lived up to it. 15 points scored on 7 of 11 shooting, and he did it with a big ol' goose egg when it came to free throw attempts. There are free throw merchants in our game. We talk about them quite a bit. It is unethical basketball. You've heard the term. But Jalen Brunson is a certified bucket getter. Merchants rely on their skill to get to the free throw line. But guys that just need to get buckets, they're not trying to get to the line. They may get to the line because they get fouled, but they get them when it matters. And Jalen Brunson is one of those, very deserving of the Clutch Player of the Year award. We'll get to awards later. 2 huge buckets from Karl-Anthony Towns as well in the last 90 seconds. He had a baseline fadeaway 2 that cut the deficit to 2, and then a deep wing 3 that was the go-ahead and ultimately served as the game winner with 47 seconds left. Why? Well, that is because all of the talk on this one will go down to the final wild sequence. If you didn't watch the game, it was Cade Cunningham, 11 seconds left, Detroit ball. Cunningham settles for a free throw jumper. That's the shot he wanted. It's Cade Cunningham. Trust him for that. Misses. Rebounds up for grabs. The game has been scrappy. Detroit had been fouling. Both teams had been fouling, and the officials weren't blowing the whistle. And the way you hear most people talk about it, and I am of these most people's opinion, they like the whistle not deciding the game. And they like games being able to have a line of physicality. Now, it is a fine line of physicality of which the referees have to continue to hold control of the game. And that has been the story and the talking point in other series. It's been a talking point within this series, how the whistle goes, who the whistle goes for. So the ball's on the deck, player scrambling for it. Tim Hardaway Jr. comes up with it. Corner 3 from the left, shoots it, but in the process is contacted by Josh Hart. 3 misses, buzzer goes off. New York Knicks walk out of Detroit with 2 wins and an emphatic 3-1 series lead, a chance to shut things down in New York in 5. Pool report comes out after the game, and the officials said it was a foul. We should have called it. Tim Hardaway Jr. should have gone to the line with a chance to send the game to overtime, win the game potentially, however it would have gone had he made his free throws, if he does make his free throws. So we are left to debate. It was a 1-point loss, 94-93. This game had every feel, and this series has every feel of everyone trying to recapture that magic. 90s basketball. I was born in 1984. I watched 90s basketball, albeit not with the understanding that I do now. But this game felt like every bucket mattered. And at the end, should it have been a foul or not? Well, a foul's a foul, no matter when the foul occurs or how the game has been officiated, and the officials admitted such. Now, there are many other sequences across the course of a basketball game that come down to the final outcome. Every play matters, every point matters, every shot matters. There can be a foul on every single play. My ethos when it comes to officiating has always been a strive for consistency. That is damn near impossible in the game of basketball because there is way too much to see and way too much to officiate. But if you can strive for consistency at both ends and throughout the entirety of the game, and then extrapolate that to a greater consistency across multiple games, multiple phases of the season, well, then I think the officiating is doing best that it can. One of the problems we have right now is the inconsistency from regular season basketball into playoff basketball. We always hear talk, and we see, and we saw last year, literally the data proved, and the impetus came from the league to officiate the games different post All-Star break and into the playoffs. Why? Officiate the games the same. We want to see games like this. Now, can you go 82 games that are played like this? Probably not, but that's a different problem that we can talk about. But were we robbed of a series that could have gone 2-2 had Tim Hardaway Jr. gone to the free throw line and made 2 free throws to win the game? We'll never know because the game ended. J.B. Bickerstaff looked like he was going to charge up the refs. It was scary for the officials. Were they going to make it out of the arena in Detroit? But most importantly for the Knicks, they make it out of Detroit with 2 wins and a commanding 3-1 series lead and an opportunity to wrap up on their home court. What a game. Regardless of how you feel about the controversy, it gets you talking. Let's keep it moving. 7 other series to break down, go through. Start with the Lakers-Wolves. Game number 4 of this one in Minneapolis. Game 1, it was Wolves running the Lakers out of their own building. Game 2, the Lakers responding with defense. Series switched to the Wolves' home floor across the course of the weekend. Game 3 was all about Jaden McDaniels. Playoff career high 30, along with the defense over a sickness-riddled, had a stomach bug, Luka Doncic. But the Wolves hold serve on their home floor. Sunday had a chance for LA to retake home court and make it a 3-game series, or for the Wolves to go up 3-1. Lakers go up double digits 3 times, the last being 10 points at the end of the third. Naz Reid, though, he was one of the first standouts in this one. He had a 90-second sequence in the middle of the fourth quarter in which he made a hook shot in the paint and then 2 threes. Scored just 12 points in the game, but he had 8 in the fourth quarter. Naz Reid is a big reason why the Wolves were able to walk away and trade Karl Anthony Towns in the offseason because what they felt they got with Naz Reid, his floor-stretching ability to shoot the 3, similar to Karl Anthony Towns, both of which we saw live off such today. Naz Reid, though, he is in a contract year, and he is up to get paid quite a bit of money. Will it be the Wolves the one to give it to him? Well, that is a story for the offseason, but he was huge in this game. It was buckets when the Wolves needed it, but the difference in the fourth, the young star for Minnesota, Anthony Edwards, he was scrapping with LeBron. He was pushing with the grizzled veteran. He goes the distance, does Edwards, in playing all 12 minutes in the fourth. He had 16 of his team's 32 points in the final period. Goes 4 of 7 from the field, 3 for 4 from 3, 5 for 5 from the free throw line. We will talk about the free throw line. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 block, part of a 43-point game for Edwards. The play in the sequence that will be dissected in this one, it was at the end. First off, LeBron James How about the block on Dante DiVincenzo? LeBron James, I've said, he can still put that cape on, and he can do it for 3, 4, maybe games across the course of a series. But in order for his Lakers to win, it has to be other guys that step up and give help to him and Luka. LeBron on the day, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 blocks, 3 steals. What more can the guy do? Rui Hachimura scored 23. Okay, there's your contribution there. 17 from Austin Reeves. Luka Doncic had 38 points. That's usually looking like a Lakers win. And it looked like the Lakers may pull one out. But the ball goes out of bounds off Anthony Edwards. And this one is worth breaking down fully because the sequence was interesting. Ball's out of bounds off of Edwards. The Lakers, J.J. Redick, their head coach, calls a timeout. Now, the Wolves still have a challenge. The Wolves use their challenge, and the challenge call goes in their favor, and it is reversed. And this was broken down plenty. Go out on social, go out on Reddit. You can see it. You saw it in the overhead cam. LeBron came down on the wrist of Anthony Edwards. Not the hand. LeBron said, hey, hand is part of the ball. It wasn't the hand. The angle showed it was on the wrist. So the call is reversed, and it was approximate foul, which also the Lakers lose their timeout because they had called the timeout, and they lose their potential for advancement. Edwards goes to the line. He makes the 2 free throws. Lakers do get a chance to send it to overtime. A pretty good look. Austin Reeves from 3. He was 5 for 12 prior. Well, he was 5 for 11 prior to that. And he's a good shooter from that right corner 3. Doesn't make it. Wolves get the 116-113 win and go up 3-1 in the series. I think a lot of people may be surprised by this. I, for one, am not. I picked the Lakers to win in 7. I still think that it goes 7. The Luka stomach bug kind of threw an interesting wrinkle into the whole thing. But the Wolves hang their hat on playing great defense. This is a great defensive team. And that's the way that they can win games is play great defense. And when the shots are there, when they're making their shots, got a great chance to win. They shot 42% from the field, 38%, 14 made threes. Lakers make 19. Another good shooting day from the Lakers that they don't win the game. It was the right call on the challenge. It was a bad move by the Lakers to not think that the Wolves would challenge. They lost their ability to advance and maybe draw up a different set, although it did end up in a good 3-point look. I don't know. You let me know what you think the Lakers should have done. J.J. Redick, from this one, the first coach in the play-by-play era. Remember, that started in 1996-97 when they began the NBA tracking this data. He is the first head coach in the era to play 5 players for all 24 minutes of the second half, of a half in the playoffs. It was James, Doncic, Reeves, Hachimura, and Dorian Finney-Smith. Do you think that the Lakers should have stuck with the trade they made for Mark Williams? Jackson Hayes played 4 minutes. Gabe Vincent played 13. Jared Vanderbilt 7. And Jordan Goodwin 7. I know that the Luka trade was not a win-now trade, but with LeBron, that is a win-now type window. LeBron's not getting any younger. And to secure the 3 seed, albeit in a logjam of teams that had 50 wins, and the Lakers did it just based off the fact that they won their division. But you got to also swing for the fences to potentially win now. And that was the Mark Williams trade idea that the Lakers then rescinded due to his health. But it sure does look as if the Lakers could use a starting center, a player that is of starting center caliber in the NBA right now. But series goes back to LA. Wolves have a chance to close it out. Lakers have to win to send the series back to Minnesota. I think that this one still has some more drama left in it. My one question with this series going into, would the emotion eventually catch up to Luka? Would the weight of everything that's happened eventually just hit him and just be too much, and the season is over. Bounced back today, 13 to 28, 38 points. So didn't seem that. Luka, to me, is the ultimate gamer. He is the ultimate gamer in the playoffs we saw last year and deserves that respect. I'm not burying Luka until Luka's done, especially when you give him a running mate in LeBron James. But make no mistake, to me, this is still a Luka-led team, and they're going to go as far. If Luka does not play well, the Lakers do not have a chance. We will see what Game 5 has in store come Wednesday night. How about the 5-game run that the NBA had over the course of Saturday and Sunday? It began with the Thunder closing out the Grizzlies, a highly competitive game. Shout out to the Grizzlies. We'll get to that series. After that, it was the Nuggets evening the series on the Aaron Gordon alley-oop buzzer-beating slam. Wow, have you ever seen an ending like that? Then it beat them up back and forth, 18 lead change game with vintage Steph Curry shot making that puts the Warriors up 2-1 on their home floor. So let's start with into the 2 games that we saw then today to begin the day. 2 games in the evening. They weren't so good, so we'll get to them last. So let's start with the Thunder sweep of the Grizzlies. Did we learn anything in this series? That the Thunder continue to be the team that they've been all year, and that's completely about their business. They have one of the best, if not the best, home court advantages in the NBA. They utilize that to the tune of 2 blowouts in games 1 and 2. Game 3 had the wild lead swing. We'll give a couple of those because it was 29 points. Memphis, they lose Ja Morant. I think if Ja Morant plays that game, they close out that game and they at least get a win. I had said earlier that I fully expected Memphis to be much more competitive on their home floor. They were. Scottie Pippen Jr., talk about a coming out party in the playoffs. He had 2 very good games. He looked very good in his role. Ja Morant, he had sat with the media and he had thought long and hard about should he say this. And I think this goes back to his "he was good in the West" quote that was kind of the beginning of now where we're at with Ja and the Grizzlies. And he said, quote, "I had them figured out. We would be on our way to Oklahoma City now, 2-2, had he not got hurt." So, it remains to be debated. I do think that the Grizzlies could have been more competitive than a sweep, but the Thunder, as they have all season, handle their business, and now they get the benefit of awaiting a beat-em-up series between the Clippers and Nuggets, and who will they face in round 2. Look forward to breaking down the Grizzlies season. I'm going to do a series called Where It All Went Wrong. It's a memoriam on all of the teams that don't win the title, so we'll get to talk about where everyone's season went wrong and to what regard, and interesting season for the Grizzlies. They overperformed. Ja Morant was up and down. He was in and out of the lineup. Taylor Jenkins, the surprise firing. Little did we know that, hey, that's the NBA now. So, Thunder handle their business. They are the first team that is on to round number 2, the semifinals. Nuggets, Clippers. Is this the best series? If you want to say it is the best series in round 1, I'm not going to argue with you because the proof is in the pudding. One game has been a blowout. And the Nuggets were blowing out the Clippers, handling their business in game number 4 as they were up 22 points. And Jokic, it seems when he gets even a moderate level of help, of which it wasn't from the Nuggets bench. Russell Westbrook was injured in the pregame warmups for Game 3. He sat out Game 4. The Nuggets got just 4 points from their bench. You want to talk about J.J. Redick and what he did in terms of minutes. Every one of the Nuggets starters went over 40-some-odd minutes in Game number 4, but 17 points from a one-armed Michael Porter Jr., 17 from Christian Brown, 13 from Jamal Murray, and 14 from Aaron Gordon, none bigger than the final play of the ball game where game tied up. Nikola Jokic with a step-back 3 that we have seen him hit. Not sure if it was clock. It wasn't the best shot. He had hit a much better shot prior to that to tie the ball game up after Denver blew their big lead. But Jokic heaves it up. Gordon is there just in time to grab the ball and slam it through. After the review, Gordon ran to the exits. Jokic ran to the bench thinking that they were going to go to overtime, certainly. But after a review And after multiple internet sleuths and everybody has weighed in with an opinion, it was a bucket. It was good. The Nuggets get a victory. 2-2. What to make of this series? After game number 3, I think everybody buried Denver. Everything had caught up with Denver. This was the beginning of the end. Firing Michael Malone, firing Calvin Booth, their whole dysfunction finally played out on the court. Nikola Jokic, he doesn't have any help. What's going on with Jamal Murray? This guy gets paid, and now he doesn't do anything. But here are the old resilient Nuggets that if you follow the team going back to when they began the Murray-Jokic years, this has been their MO. 2-3-1 comebacks when they were in the bubble to the Jazz and to the Los Angeles Clippers. Outside of the championship year, this has been a team that until the stake is through them, they don't go away. So what does that have? The series remaining with 3 games left. Game number 5, Tuesday night in Denver. Denver now has home court back. Who can win 2 out of 3? You let me know in the comments. Rockets, Warriors. This one, it's a team that's trying to come of age against a team that has already lived through that, and it's their last grasp at glory in the Rockets. Steph Curry showed that he still has plenty in the tank with his 36-point performance. It was amazing to watch his shot making. He is unquestionably the greatest shooter in the history of the game. I don't think that anybody's arguing that, but I still think that it bears mentioning for Curry and what he does. The Rockets shot just 39.5%. So if you say the Warriors lose Jimmy Butler, of which maybe he will or will not be back for game 4, but they hold the Rockets to 39.5%. That's a pretty impressive effort defensively. Big contribution from Buddy Hield, and the Warriors so hard to beat on their home floor. I think at one point it was 17 consecutive losses for the Rockets when they had traveled out to the Bay Area. Not always San Francisco. They moved over from the old Rorical into downtown San Francisco. I don't know what to make of what we will see in Game 4 because the Rockets have shown at times that they can play with and beat anybody, but their offensive ineptitude can catch up with them, specifically in the backcourt. Alperen Sengun is their best player, in my opinion. That may not continue as Thompson continues to have his emergence, but they need to get their scoring from their backcourt of Fred VanVleet and Jalen Green. That's always been my question with the Rockets, specifically Jalen Green. Can he be that tip of the spear guy that can lead their scoring charge? If you're the Houston Rockets and you could swap out Devin Booker for Jalen Green, maybe give up Atari Eason, would you do it? Is this Rockets team that much more deadly if they had, say, a Devin Booker? I absolutely think so. Devin Booker is a proven entity compared to Jalen Green. Jalen Green, though, has a chance to prove it, and that's what this series is all about. If you want to come of age, you usually have to beat some teams that have already been there and done that. So what does that have in store? Monday night, we get to see game number 4 in San Francisco. Let's go to the Should You Care series. Celtics Magic, should you care? There's just too many offensive options for the defending champs in the Celtics. They got a great game from Jason Tatum. Against Orlando, an offensively deficient team. Their roster can be built for playoff basketball, but not to go up against a playoff team like the Celtics that can shoot it, they can score it. Celtics have overwhelmed them and will continue to overwhelm them to the tune of, I think, a gentleman's sweep 4-1. Shout out to the Magic for getting at least that one victory. And I am bullish on the Magic moving forward. I think they have great pieces, but they're going to have to add to that. They need point guard help. Part of that will be Jalen Suggs just getting healthy. Also, series Should You Care? Pacers, Bucks. Well, my notes for this were about Giannis coming in, but it looks like after tonight that may have been a very significant injury for Damian Lillard. The replays did not look good. The initial reporting does not sound good. Damian Lillard did not look good sitting on the court, unable to get up, clutching what looked to be his left Achilles. There'll be plenty of debate, I'm sure, about did he come back too soon? Did he need to come back given where the Bucks were? Was it realistic that they could really make a run? I don't know. I mean, the appreciation has to go to Giannis, and then maybe reflection on the poor job that the Bucks organization has done to support their Superstars championship window. But it's also just a reflection of where we are at with the CBA. It is so hard. They traded Middleton. They got off his deal, but they also made the trade for Damian Lillard, and now what are you staring at when it comes to such? They end up losing 129-103. The series is 3-1. Shout out to the Pacers. Pacers could easily find themselves, not easily, but could find themselves back in the Eastern Conference Finals. Would anybody be that surprised? Maybe they'd have to play the Cavs. But Pacers were there last year. Don't sleep on the Pacers. Cavs Heat. Tyler Hero, well, he knows that his team will have a tough task if they fall into a 4-0 hole. Some might say an insurmountable task. He was asked in the post-game press conference about going down 4-0. You go down 4-0, the series is over. And that's exactly where they will find themselves at the end of Monday night's game. So that's where we stand. There are 3 series in the East that are 3-1 and very much look that they will be gentlemen sweeps. Pistons Knicks has the most intrigue. Will the Pistons be able to get off the ropes, or do the Knicks deliver the knockout punch? I think that the Knicks can smell blood in the water. The Garden will be absolutely rocking to welcome them back to try to shut down the Pistons and move on to the semifinals. In the West, well, we got a classic brewing between the Clippers and Nuggets. What do the Lakers come back with to at least send that to 6? And then we will find out what we need to know about Rockets Warriors, all while the Thunder get to kick their feet up and watch it all at home, just like you and I. Heavy pour, leading score of the night, presented by Portland Water. Check them out at drinkpdxwater.com. Anthony Edwards poured in 43 in his team's victory in front of their home fans to go up 3-1 over the Lakers. Dunk of the night. If you want to sponsor it, holler at me. Information is down below. Cade Cunningham went up lefty jam on Karl Anthony Towns. And the performance of the night, presented by Contract Year. Playing your contract year. Well, I'm going to go back to Anthony Edwards. Yes, he scored 43 points and was the high score on the day, but what a performance for the young star who continues to shine in the playoffs, and none brighter than the one that he gave today, going up against Luka Doncic, the player, mind you, that his team, the Dallas Mavs, last year were the ones that dispatched of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and going head-to-head, toe-to-toe against LeBron James with his team, the underdog, playing that underdog role, but very much looking the favorite now with a 3-1 advantage. Promise you all NBA awards, the Z's and Threes ballot last week, but because we didn't do a show Friday, didn't get to it. 4 have already been awarded. I will tell you if I agree or not. 6th Man of the Year, Peyton Pritchard, thumbs up, yes. Clutch Player of the Year, Jalen Brunson, I'm okay with that. He averaged more points in the clutch than any other player. Nikola Jokic finished 2nd. I'm cool with that one too. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Evan Mobley. I think that this one more of a team award and acknowledgement of the Cavs' success. My vote, Dyson Daniels, the great barrier thief. Hustle Award went to Draymond Green, and I'm going to award that the dumbest award ever, because these are pros. They're the best of the best in the NBA. Everyone should be hustling, right? Why would we award someone? Because you hustled a bit more, especially a guy that is older than all these other players that should be hustling too. Where you at, young guys? Tuesday, we will find out Rookie of the Year. My vote goes to the San Antonio Spurs, Steph Castle. Wednesday will be the Most Improved Player. Cade Cunningham will win the award, and I understand why. He has made the leap. But I think that we need to delegate an award for a player that has made the leap as expectations were already there, maybe from expectations that they set for themselves. Cade Cunningham did that going back to his college days. That's why he was the number 1 pick. I also understand that's why people would make the case for him not winning Most Improved Player, because the expectations around being a former number 1 pick, that is the camp that I sit in. My vote will go to Ivica Zubac. He has a legitimate case, I believe, for all NBA recognition. I think he would be 3rd-team All-NBA. The NBA's leading rebounder across the regular season, and now a legit offensive weapon, as he has been all season for the Clippers. So those are my votes. Check back for Coach of the Year and MVP. We'll do that later this week. What to watch Monday night? Just 2 playoff games. The Cleveland Cavaliers will be putting the Miami Heat season of unrest to rest. That will be a sweep. That is my opinion. That's how I think it's going to go down. Tyler Hero and company will have a tough time crawling out of that 4-0 hole. Houston Golden State, that's the game to watch. The Rockets looking to tie it up. They have struggled mightily over the years on the Warriors' home floor. You know it will be loud. It will be rocking. Chance for the Warriors to go up 3-1. Does Jimmy Butler give it a go? Similar injury to the one that Steph Curry had at the end of the regular season. Houston, a chance, though, to swipe home court back and make it a 3-game set. Don't miss that one. Big shout out to all of you that are new subscribers to the channel. We are over 8,500. If you aren't yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, give us a like, share with a friend. Remember, playoff format, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We will see you back here Wednesday to break down all of the action. Enjoy the games. Peace.